Shalom, my friend. It is good to see you. Come, pull up a chair. Today we're going to talk about something crucial, something many in the modern world overlook. It's about why chasing high yields in investing often leads to disappointment, and why, instead, we focus on reading deeper, not just the surface numbers, but the hidden truths, the foundational principles. Because not all returns are real. They can be illusions, temporary gains that vanish as quickly as they appear. In the Torah and the wisdom passed down through generations, we learn about discerning truth from mirage. We learn about Emunah, not as blind faith, but as a deep-seated trust rooted in understanding, and how this trust, this bitachon, guides our actions, especially when it comes to our resources. There's a fascinating passage in the Talmud, in Tractat Brasho, that speaks about this very idea. It tells a story, a seemingly simple one, but with profound implications for our modern world. Imagine a marketplace in ancient Jerusalem, bustling with merchants, traders, artisans. Among them was a man named Yosef, a scholar, a man of deep contemplation, but also a skilled merchant of precious oils. Yosef wasn't like the others who shouted their wares, promising quick riches. He had a quiet dignity about him. His oils were sought after, not because they were the cheapest or promised instant transformation, but because they were pure, they were true. One day, a young, ambitious merchant, Shimon, arrived in the marketplace. Shimon was full of energy, with a glint in his eye and a new kind of oil he'd brought from afar. "Miracle oil," he cried. "See how it shines. Feel its immediate warmth, guaranteed to make your lamps burn brighter longer with no smoke." The crowd, drawn by his charisma and the promise of immediate results, flocked to him. His oil was cheaper, and indeed, when lit, it produced a dazzling, brilliant flame for a short while. People bought it by the flask, eager for these high yields of light. Yosef, meanwhile, continued his quiet trade. His oil, while producing a steady, clear flame, didn't have the same initial burst of brilliance. It seemed almost subdued in comparison to Shimon's miracle oil. Days turned into a week. Then murmurs began to spread through the marketplace. Shimon's customers returned, their faces troubled. "My lamp," one complained, "burned brightly for a day, then sputtered and died, leaving behind a terrible soot." Another added, "Mine filled my home with smoke, and now the wick is ruined." The miracle oil had indeed produced a high yield of light initially, but it was a fleeting, ultimately damaging yield. It lacked substance, it lacked depth. It was not real in the enduring sense. Shimon, it turned out, had mixed his oil with a cheap, unstable resin to make it burn brighter at first. A superficial brilliance, a facade of high yield. Yosef, on the other hand, had meticulously processed his oil, purifying it, ensuring its long-term stability and clean burn. He understood that true value lay not in the immediate, dazzling display, but in the sustained, reliable, and ultimately beneficial output. This story, my friends, is not just about oil. It's about everything we invest in. Our money, our time, our energy, our very selves. The modern world, much like Shimon, often shouts about high yields, quick returns, instant gratification, overnight success. They promise dazzling brilliance, immediate satisfaction. But too often, these promises are built on unstable resins, on superficial foundations. They lack the depth, the purity, the Emunah, in a process that truly sustains. When we as Jews approach investments, we don't just look at the advertised yield. We look deeper. We ask, what is the source? What is the foundation? What is the true nature of this return? We apply the concept of Cheshbon Hanefesh, an accounting of the soul, not just an accounting of profits and losses, but an examination of the underlying values. Is this investment aligned with something real, something enduring? Does it contribute to something meaningful? Does it have the substance to last? Or will it sputter and leave soot? We also invoke Mussar, ethical instruction. It teaches us to cultivate discernment, to see beyond the immediate glitter, to understand that true prosperity is built on integrity, on patience, on a deep understanding of cause and effect. It's about understanding that a high yield that doesn't consider long-term consequences is not a high yield at all. It's a gamble, a risk to our resources, our peace of mind, our future. Consider the stock market. There are always new shemans shouting about the next big thing. The meme stock, the cryptocurrency that will make you rich overnight, the sure thing that everyone is talking about. They show you dazzling charts of rapid ascent. They highlight the stories of the few who got in early and won big. But they rarely talk about the vast majority who lost everything when the miracle oil ran out, leaving only soot and regret. When we see these flashy opportunities, our tradition teaches us to pause, to apply allure, not as fear in the sense of being scared, but as a profound awe and reverence for the truth, an awe that compels us to look beyond the surface, to question, to scrutinize, to ask, what is truly beneath this claim? Just as Yosef understood the alchemy of oils, we are taught to understand the alchemy of value. True value is not conjured from thin air. It is built on effort, on genuine production, on solving real problems. It's about discerning between speculative bubbles and foundational growth. This isn't about being pessimistic. It's about being realistic. It's about being anchored in truth. It's about understanding that real returns are often quiet, steady, and built over time. They are like the deep roots of a strong tree, not the fleeting bloom of a fragile flower. Another way we read deeper is by understanding achrayut, our responsibility. Our responsibility not just to ourselves but to our families, our communities, and to the future. Chasing superficial, high yields often means chasing a quick buck at the expense of long-term stability. It means risking resources that could be used for true sustenance, for education, for chesed, acts of loving kindness in our community. When we invest, we ask, how does this align with our allure? Does this investment support something that has enduring value? Does it contribute to the collective good? Or is it merely a speculative gamble for personal, fleeting gain? Consider a different analogy, one from the world of scholarship, not commerce. Imagine two students studying a complex text of the Talmud. One student, let's call him Dov, rushes through the pages, highlighting every bolded word, memorizing key phrases. He aims for the high yield of quick answers, of appearing knowledgeable. He wants to ace the immediate test. The other student, Levi, reads slowly, deliberately. He ponders each word, questions the commentaries, seeks to understand the subtle nuances and the deeper connections between ideas. His progress might seem slower, less immediately productive. But when a complex legal question arises, it is Levi, not Dov, who can truly analyze the situation. It is Levi who can offer insightful, principled solutions. Dov, with his superficial high yield of memorized facts, finds his knowledge quickly evaporating when faced with real-world application. Levi, with his deep understanding, his Emunah, in the process of rigorous study, possesses true wisdom. His returns are enduring, applicable, and truly valuable. This is the essence of why we don't chase superficial high yields. We read deeper. We apply Cheshbon Hanefesh to examine the true nature of the opportunity. We use Mussar to cultivate the patience and discernment to see beyond the glitter. We embody yira by approaching claims with a healthy reverence for truth, demanding substance over show, and we live by achrayut, ensuring our decisions reflect our broader responsibilities. So, the next time someone tries to sell you on a miracle oil of investment, promising dazzling, immediate high yields, pause. Don't just look at the surface shine. Ask, what is truly in this oil? What is its foundation? What are the long-term consequences? And remember Yosef, the merchant of pure oil. His returns were not the fastest, not the most dazzling at first glance, but they were real. They were enduring. They brought light, clean and steady for all who used them. Choose substance over spectacle. Choose depth over superficiality. Choose real returns over fleeting illusions. May your investments in all aspects of your life be rooted in truth and bring forth enduring light. Shalom.